Welcome, gentlemen. Today I'm going to be talking about why not doing shadow work is going to hold you back, not just from earning money, wealth, success, but also love, relationships, all of those things that you are dying to have. And so if you are interested in finding out more, or you don't even know what shadow work is, then please stay tuned and keep watching. I don't know why I'm doing this. Okay. So the first thing that I want to say is that shadow work is something that I learned about, again, a couple years back, and it has changed my life, the way that I live, the way that I breathe, just my existence in this world has changed just by doing these things. And not to say that I'm perfect, in no way, shape, or form am I perfect, right? But by doing the shadow work, I've literally released so many blocks that held me back from the amount of money that I was making. I was stuck on this, making just $2,000 a month, and that's it. I couldn't level up. And I realized it was these subconscious beliefs and these energetic blocks that were holding me back, that were linked to my past, to my childhood, and also my past relationships with men. So I want to quickly let you guys know why shadow work is so important. And I'm going to give you a little bit of insight on what shadow work can look like for you. I think it's just good for you to learn about it. I would suggest, if you really want to go one step further, 2 steps further, 10 steps further, then give this a shot. Okay, do some more research on it. I'm not going to go too much into detail because I just want you to kind of absorb this information. I don't want it to be overwhelming for you where you're like, oh my God, this is so much work. Like, I don't want to do this. This is something that only women do. I do not want you to leave this video thinking that. I really hope I don't do that for you, but I just want you to inform yourself regarding these things and really learn about why this is so critical for your success in all parts of your life, okay? So firstly, when you don't do the shadow work, you don't do the inner work, what happens is you're going to stay at a baseline. That's why a majority of the world, I believe it's about 75% of the world, they remain stuck in this amount of money. They can't, whatever they do, they can't push through and make more money or have more success or more love in their lives because they have these blocks. It's like a pendulum, right? It just can't swing freely because it's too heavy. And you're kind of stuck in the same place, unable to move forward to make more money in your life because you haven't lightened the load of the past and the negative patterns and subconscious beliefs. I just want you to kind of keep that in mind. Think about a pendulum where you can't go that far up because you still have this dark cloud that is holding you back, that is weighing down on you. So you can't really lift higher. I don't know if you guys are understanding what I'm saying, but to me it makes sense, okay? Let me know if that made sense to you guys. Secondly, when you don't do the shadow work, you're repressing your true self. So I know one thing that you guys always hear, your self-worth, you need to feel like you're enough, all these kind of great things that we kind of throw about. And when you're not doing the shadow work, what you're doing is you're repressing your true self, which is your childlike inner self that was yearning for, validation, love, support, kindness, compassion from either your mom, your dad, from your teacher, from a child in school. You were yearning for these things, but maybe, you got a wound from that because your needs were not getting met at that moment in time. It's kind of like trying to shove a beach ball underwater. Think about that in your mind. Eventually, it's going to pop back up, right? And it's also because when you suppress your shadow self, your darker parts of yourself, it just doesn't disappear. It does show up when you least expect it, either in your relationships, your behaviors, your patterns. So it does show up. It doesn't just go away. It's kind of like, if you're in a dirty fishbowl and you're swimming in that dirty fishbowl, you don't know it's a dirty fishbowl because you're just swimming in it. So the more that you suppress this darker part of yourself, the more that you're saying to yourself, you're not enough, you're not worthy, you're not good enough for love, you're not good enough for money. So you're going to subconsciously block those things from your life, okay? And the last part is, as I just mentioned, you're going to lower your vibration. We are all vibrating. I'm not going to maybe I'll make another video on this, on vibration and frequencies, because I love talking about these kind of things. So let me know down below, do men really want to talk about these things? I don't think so. I don't think you men want to talk about it. But if you do, if somebody wants to learn more about it, then put it down below. When you don't do the shadow work, think about your energy like a car with a clogged fuel line, okay? So when your shadow is unresolved, it blocks the flow of your true potential. Like all the things that you're able to, magnetize into your life, you're blocking that. And also it's making it harder for you to move forward. Okay, a lot of the times we're like, oh my God, like life is just, it just seems like things are happening over and over again. Nothing is changing, nothing is moving. And that's one of the biggest reasons as well. And so once you clear this, okay, and again, this is not just a one-time thing. A lot of men think I'm just going to do one little journaling and I'm free of all this work. No, this is things that you have to, it's a lifestyle change. Just like going to the gym, you don't go to the gym once. You have to constantly go to the gym, push yourself. There needs to be discipline. Same thing with mindfulness. Same thing with shadow work, energetic, your energy, all these kind of things we talk about. It's a lifestyle practice, mindset. Okay. So once you clear this, your energy will flow freely, which will then allow you to reach new heights, not only in your relationships, attracting the love of your life, but also in money and success. So quickly, I want to make this kind of short and concise so you can kind of really understand it in the quickest way possible. So I'm not going to be talking about it for 5 hours and then nobody watches the video. So 5 steps to do your shadow work. Okay. Now, again, there's a lot of different techniques. Again, to be honest, there is no right or wrong way to do this stuff. Sometimes what happens is that we learn, and this happens to me a lot of the times, I learn so much, I get so much knowledge and information, and then I get overwhelmed, and then I tend to procrastinate, and then I don't do any of it at all. So I think the less that you know, the better it is, because to be honest, your body already knows how to do this. I don't need to teach you this. You already know how to do it. And that is a part of trusting in yourself and your higher self in the universe. So the first step is to pinpoint what is something that you believe is holding you back, that is blocking you. It could be a belief of unworthiness, of, you constantly need validation, you lack confidence, either something from your past relationships, maybe you got cheated on, so you feel like you can't trust anybody. What is this? It's just one core belief or just something that you feel like it's on repeat. You constantly see it coming into your life. It could be an abandonment where there's so many things it could be. So really sit with yourself, take a couple of days and think about it. The second step is to call this version of yourself into the conversation with you. And yes, this might seem a little bit whack job, but this is the work. And I know at first it's going to seem, logically as a man, you're going to be like, why do I need to do this? It doesn't make sense. But all I'm saying is to just give it a shot. Try something you've never done before, because this is where the work is at. And you're going to see the life-changing improvements that happen into your life after these couple of steps that you take. So what you're going to do is you're basically inviting this younger version of yourself and have a conversation with the broken part of you. Okay. And basically you're going to, let's just say they have a little chair and they're going to sit on that chair and you're going to have a conversation with them. And you're going to talk to them in a very curious way. You're not going to judge them for that behavior, but instead you're just going to understand and listen to them. If you when you're having this conversation and suddenly you start getting defensive and you say, you suck or sorry, suck it up, these kind of things that we might have heard when we were children, that's actually going to make it worse. So make sure that when you're doing this work, you really are ready to be compassionate, loving, kind, and caring to yourself. Okay, because this is what your inner child really needs, that it did not receive when you were a little child. Or maybe even in your past relationship. Thirdly, you're going to basically begin a dialogue. You're going to have a conversation with this person. And either you can write this down, you can visualize it, you can do a meditation on this, you can do this in so many different ways. And you're literally just being very curious, as I mentioned. Basically, you're going to try to ask, what are you trying to keep me from? Like, why are you holding me back? And you're really going to try to understand this version of yourself, what it really needs from you. I don't want to, again, go too deep into this, but because I said I want this to be just the first time that you do it. It's not going to be perfect. And I just want it to happen naturally. And so you don't have all these things that you need to talk about and think about. It's going to be natural. And again, if you feel like you need extra support and you feel like right now it could be a little bit of a challenge to get into this space, definitely seek a therapist, seek guidance in order how to do this. But for the people that feel like, okay, I can get into this and I'm going to be open to doing this, definitely give it a shot. And fourthly, as I mentioned, you're going to acknowledge this version of you with judgment, with love, with compassion, and you're not going to criticize them or dismiss their feelings, and you're just going to acknowledge it and you're going to accept it. Think of it like an emotion. The more that you kind of resist it, the worse it gets. So you just have to listen and really just be with this version of you. It's a part of you. It's not going anywhere. So the more that you dismiss it, it might go away temporarily, but it's going to show up in your relationships and in your work and your money, in every part of you, in your life. And lastly, what happens is when this version of yourself takes you back into that timeline where, let's say, you got bullied in school or your mother abandoned you or whatever really happened, you're going to go back into that painful moment, which is not going to be comfortable. It is going to be uncomfortable. You are going to feel triggered, emotions are going to come up. So I just want you to know this is not fun work, but once you do it, you're going to notice life-changing improvements in your life. And so when you go back to that painful moment, what you're going to do is you're going to be there for yourself, like how you would have hoped somebody, either your mother, your friend, whoever, would have been there for you, to give you that hug, to give you that acknowledgement that it's going to be okay. You're fine. You're going to get through this. So you are going to be that person for this broken version of yourself, basically. Another thing that I do sometimes is that I visualize my best version of myself. So the version that has all of my desires already come into fruition. She already has everything. He already has everything. And then I visualize myself going back into that past, that moment where, for me, there's a lot of dark moments, but, there's a moment where when I was really young, when I was a teenager and my parents used to fight a lot, I would go in the closet and just cry for hours, and I would just feel so lonely and abandoned. And so what I would do is I would go as my best version of myself and go into that closet, open that door, and give her that hug and give her that love and really just be there for her. And instead of having that memory of mine to play out in a way where I felt just so lonely, so abandoned and hurt, instead I play out a version of myself back in my past, because again, the past and present and now it's all here. It's all happening right now. So what I do is I visualize playing out that moment in a more loving and gentle way where I'm like, okay, I felt loved and I felt seen and heard. And I then let that memory go in peace, because I'm allowing this broken version of me to really feel seen and heard and acknowledged and loved, which is what we lacked in our childhood. So I really hope that this kind of 5 steps gives you a little bit of insight of how it's meant to look like. I didn't really go deep into all of the details, but I just want you to know that this is where the work is. This is where the transformation is really going to take place. And again, by repressing your shadow, what it does is it keeps you stuck in a rabbit hole. And so by integrating, it basically frees up your energy. You're going to feel much more lighter, which is then going to allow you to attract more success and also help you grow into the higher version of yourself. So I really hope this video gave you some insights. If you do have any more questions or you want to know more about this, please again put it down below, because as I mentioned, this is something that we don't really talk about, and I do want men to really understand it and give this work a shot. And that's it. I'm gonna end the video here, and I'm gonna see you guys in my next video.